Well, Mother Nature might have delayed us an hour here tonight at Spillane Field, but we're underway. It's a picture-perfect night for baseball nonetheless. With Josh Richardson, I'm Corey Miller in the John Wild press box, getting set for an hour late game between the Kettleers and the Gatemen. Josh, two teams playing well. Cotuit, on their end, they spent a lot of time last place in the division, but they've won two straight, and they've worked their way up in the standings lately.
Yeah, for a while, that first week or two in the Cape League, Cotuit was hanging on with just one win this summer. That one win came against Wareham in the second game of the season. Kettleers walked off the Gatemen 2-1 from Lowell Park. It was a tough one for the Gatemen to, kind of swallow, and especially as the season kept moving along and the Gatemen were struggling at 1.6-12. Oh, Cotuit only had that one win, but then the Kettleers started to pick up some momentum. In the beginning of July, the Gatemen came away with a big win, and you could really kind of think about it as that contest against Falmouth on July 6th. That was kind of the turning point. 7 errors the day after, 16-9 win over the Kettleers.
And we kind of mentioned a little bit, but that last time these two teams played really had a lot of implications for that first place spot in the division. Everything was really highly contested then. It still is now, but the Gatemen, based off the way they've played recently, especially the past week or so, have created some separation in that first place spot.
Yeah, the Gatemen are pulling away, and that loss for that Cotuit had against the Gatemen bumped them down from second to last, and then they've had to just try and work their way back up the division and try and fight, tooth and nail between Bourne, Cotuit, Falmouth, Hyannis. I mean, it's all very tightly knit, 2 through 5. The Gatemen have started to separate themselves, so, it's a good thing for the Gatemen. But now you just got to keep riding that momentum. 9 games left in the season.
When you look at those West Division standings, it is the Gatemen on top of things. The most wins across the Cape, 17-14. Bourne the next closest, 14-15-2. 4 points behind the Gatemen. Cotuit sits at third, 13-16-2. But obviously, this is, with 9 games left, this being that 9th game, 8-7-6-5. A lot riding, especially in these interdivision matchups. The Gatemen got the win over Orleans last night, but a lot can change, especially in the division when you have these divisional matchups.
Yeah, it's so close, and it's the same thing over in the East, as we talked about a little bit there as well. I mean, just 1 point separating 1 through 3, so it's very tightly knit. It's very compact, and this last week and a half or so with 9 games left in the season is going to be a big indicator of maybe how these playoffs are going to go as well, Corey.
Obviously, Cotuit topped Wareham in the playoff one-game elimination last summer, but the Gatemen have had the edge so far this summer in the 3 matchups so far this summer. Cotuit grabbed the first one all the way back on the second game of the season, but since then it's been the Gatemen taking advantage. One here at Spillane Field, that was 16-9, and then 4-2 most recently on the 17th. But last time these two teams were here, the Gatemen obviously took advantage offensively. That was kind of, it seemed like the first game off of that 5-game losing skid that really got them going.
Yeah, and it helped when you scored 9 runs in the first 2 innings. Cooper Consiglio said afterward, well, you know what, it's really easy when all I have to do is just throw strikes. And that's exactly what he did. Gatemen came away with that win. But let's talk about that win a little bit, more recently, I guess I could say. Because the Gatemen were down for a good chunk of that game, and then Hunter Carnes' 2-run home run. They fought back into that game, and they ended up winning it.
They absolutely did, whether they're playing from ahead or behind over the course of this 13-game stretch. They've been playing near flawlessly, and a big part of that has been the pitching, especially from the guy on the mound tonight, Tate McGuire out of Arkansas. Now his 4th start of the summer. Boy, has he been good for the Gatemen.
Yeah, he's been nothing short of spectacular for this Wareham team. His ERA down in the low 1s at 1.38. He's been great. Now, the one thing, though, is his last start came against Cotuit, so the Kettleers are going to be pretty familiar with him, and he pitched pretty well against Cotuit. He went 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, just 3 hits. The 1 run he allowed was unearned, but again, now this is going to be 2 times in a row for McGuire that he's going to have to face the same team, so the more at-bats that players get against a pitcher, the more it favors the offense. So something to keep an eye on. As dominant as McGuire has been, he's going to have a tall task against the Cotuit lineup that's tied for the highest batting average across Cape Cod.
And that lineup begins in the form of Camden Johnson at the top, the lefty. Ryan Farber, second baseman, bats second, batting third. Center fielder Caden Bogenpole. Natilli in the middle. He's got 3 grand slams this summer, including 1 against this Gatemen team. Dean West, Nolan Stevens, Luke Matthews 5 through 7, Case Sanderson, and Luke Lavin round out the starting 9, the lineup for the Kettleers.
Yeah, and it's a lineup, I just mentioned it, Corey, tied for the top of the league in batting average. Who's the team they're tied with? Oh, well, it's the Gatemen. So be prepared for some fireworks offensively, especially if Tate McGuire can't, get all the way going as he has been. But this is a great Gateman team, and hopefully McGuire can deliver on the mound and shut down this prolific Kettleers offense.
As Josh mentioned, Tate got the start the last time these two teams played. Faces Camden Johnson, the leadoff man, batting from the left side. 300 hitter, no homers, 9 RBIs for Johnson. Rogers behind the plate is ready. Tate McGuire on the mound's ready. Johnson in the batter's box is ready. First pitch tonight from Spillane Field. Foul ball out of play, and we are officially underway from Spillane Field. Just an hour late, but thanks again for sticking with us here on Cape League TV. Some afternoon thunderstorms. These two teams electing to play an hour late. Make sure the field was in ideal condition. 1-1 now on Johnson.
And I'll tell you what, it certainly doesn't look like a thunderstorm got hit. So a big shout out to the entire Gateman coaching staff, some of the players, to really get this field back in tip-top shape. But, I mean, it's beautiful out now. The heat broke down in the 70s. It's nice.
Was going to say, as a breaking ball is in for a called strike, at least 10 degrees, it feels like it's cooled off between the low 90s temperatures it felt like when we arrived at Spillane Field earlier this afternoon.
It was a hot one. It was hot and it was humid.
1-2 the count on the third baseman, Johnson. McGuire into the windup, pitch home. Fisted foul. 5 shutout innings for McGuire last time these two teams played. Did allow a run, but it was unearned. That dropped his season ERA to 1.38. Guy who's been really dominant for the Gatemen the past 2 summers, ERA under 4 a season ago. Another 1-2 pitch on the way. On the inside corner, just misses. Count even at 2-2. Mentioned Cotuit's won 2 straight. Last night, it was a mercy rule win over Hyannis, 11-0. 2-2 from McGuire. Ground ball back up the middle. Ramirez shading, makes a nice play behind the bag. Low throw to first, and a great job by Rivera over there to pick it. What a start to the game on both ends. We'll get you a quick look at the rest of the Gateman defense behind McGuire. It's McHugh, Cruson, and Turner left to right. Shane Ramirez, you just saw Ramirez at short make that nice play. Randall Rivera, that's third to first. Rogers behind the plate. So a couple of guys in new positions here tonight for the Gatemen, but a nice play to begin the top of the first.
Yeah, well, 2 of the newest Gatemen, Chris Ramirez, Eris Rivera, connecting on that ground out. Just good play.
0-1 on Farber. We've talked about at length the range that Chris Ramirez has up the middle. Showcased it there. 0-2 quickly on Farber. 295 hitter, 2 homers, 15 RBIs.
Back on that defense, also, Corey, haven't seen Chris McHugh in left field a whole lot. He's mainly just been at first. So you got a primary catcher over at first and a primary first baseman in left field.
0-2. Weak grounder. Another try for Rivera. This time he gets the putout himself. Nicely done. And there's 2 retired.
And that was what we talked about a lot when Levi Clark, primary catcher for the Gatemen, moved over to first base for a small portion of the season. But it's a pretty, you don't want to say fluid adjustment, but it's a pretty simple adjustment when you think about the fact of, well, a lot of the traits that a catcher has, a first baseman also needs to possess. Picking the ball, getting a good read on it, where it's going to bounce, where it's going to go.
And it kind of felt like if there's a position where you need someone to learn on the fly, Ryan Smythe has stuck those players in left field. The center fielder, Bogenpol, waiting on the 1-0, make it 2-0. Hayden, a 237 hitter with a homer and 15 RBIs. It's not like McHugh doesn't have that versatility. Was graded as a shortstop coming out of high school, played second base his freshman year at VCU. And then for the NC State Wolfpack has been a corner infielder. But as you said, just really haven't seen him anywhere other than first. The 2-0. Bogenpol takes on a breaking ball. It's 2-1.
Well, that was something that we kind of hinted at yesterday a little bit, Corey, was building out our Gateman all-star lineup from anyone that's played for Wareham this summer. And there's just been so much talent everywhere else that you don't really need McHugh anywhere other than left field, or other than first base.
He's going to get a try right here and makes the catch for out number 3. Flawless first inning of work for Tate McGuire, picking up where he is left off. 3 up, 3 down. After the top of the first, it's the Kettleer 0 and the Gateman coming to bat. The southpaw Peyton Monka getting in his warm-up pitches. Home half of the first about to commence. This is a red-hot Gateman lineup, and it's certainly given the Kettleers trouble the past couple of games, so the lefty has his hands full here tonight.
Yeah, 20 runs in the last 2 contests for Wareham against Kintuit. Now, Monka this season for the Kettleers has pitched pretty well. 5 games, 4 starts. He's at a 3.3 ERA. He's got 15 Ks to his name as well, so definitely somebody that the Gatemen are going to have to try and work around, and he's been pretty effective. The good news for Wareham, they've got 7 lefties in the lineup. Or 7 righties, rather.
Yeah, they definitely stack the right-handed side of the order. We get a look at the full picture. Begins with Randall, Turner, McHugh, 1 through 3. McDonald, Cruz, and Ramirez. Chris Ramirez elevated from that bottom part, now kind of the middle part of the order at the 6th spot. Rivera, Shane, Rogers. The Gatemen get both of their catchers in there tonight, facing the lefty.
Well, when you got Chris Ramirez hitting 500 even on the season, it's pretty good.
And speaking of pretty good, how about the guy at the top of the order in Braden Randall? Popped his first homer of the summer, 2-run shot to right field last night. On the hole, he's hitting .287, 13 RBIs out of that leadoff spot. Digs into the box. Facing the lefty Monka out of FSU. First pitch of the home half of the first misses low for ball 1. Randall has been a thorn in a lot of pitchers' sides as he rolls this one to second. Farber fields cleanly. Easy throw to first in time. Guy who typically sees a lot of pitches every at-bat. Just saw 2 of them right there, and he's out to begin the home half of the first. We saw Farber at second. The rest of the defense behind Monka on the mound. In the outfield, it's West, Bogenpole, Stevens, the look from left to right. Johnson, Matthews, Farber, Sanderson, third to first, and Luke Lavin doing the catching for Monka behind home plate.
Yeah, something you mentioned about Braden Randall. He's been seeing a lot of pitches, and Ryan Smythe has talked about he doesn't let starters settle in very easily. Monka got him out on 2 pitches there, so maybe kind of progress that along a little bit.
So after the Randall ground out, it's Colby Turner waiting on the 1-0 pitch, attacking, popping one in the air, behind home plate, drifting out of play. Turner at .273, 4 homers, 15 RBIs. The last time Colby played the Kettleers here in Wareham, a couple of home runs, drove in 7.
Yeah, over half of his season total RBIs have come against Kintuit in 2 games.
Colby was 1 for 4 last night as he takes low for ball 2. Hit 5th last night, but facing the southpaw tonight, elevated back to the 2 spot in the order. 2-1 pitch to him. Big swing and miss at a fastball up in the zone. Gateman off of that 3rd straight win post All-Star break last night. 2-2. Weak contact. Turner just got a piece of it. Stays alive. Gateman have won 3 straight. Most recently an 8-1 win over Orleans last night. Victories against YD and Chatham as well since the All-Star weekend. 2-2 pitch, a breaking ball that stays high. Count goes full. Chris McHugh on deck. And it's really felt like the past 2 wins, kind of all-around domination. The offense has gotten going, the pitching, and the defense as well. Full count pitch. Mile-high fly ball, shallow left field. Drifting towards the line, Matthews underneath and makes the catch for out number 2.
And this Gateman hot streak goes back about 2.5 weeks now. 10 of the last 11 been so solid. You can go 11 of the last 13, but 10 of the last 11 sounds a little better than that.
And that's the thing. It kind of really started against this Scituate team last time they played at home. That 16-9 win. The Gatemen would drop the next one against Brewster, but
that was
since
the first.
then,
That was the first win in July.
yeah, since then, just one loss after the loss to Brewster. The Scituate home matchup was the first game after that Falmouth contest in which Wareham made 7 errors. Back on July 6th, it was a 16-9 Gateman win over Scituate. As McHugh's had in the count 2-0. Chris at 257, 5 homers, 15 runs batted in. Monka's retired the first 2 Gatemen he's seen, and now gets a strike on McHugh with that violent hack. No hits for McHugh last night, but he had a couple of fly balls that nearly left the yard, one to center, one to left. 2-1. Another big swing, got a piece of it, 2-2. Tied for the team lead in home runs, now with Caden McDonald, who launched his 5th last night. Caden waits on deck. From 2-0 to 2-2, pitch home. McHugh stays alive. Took the Gateman offense a couple innings to get going last night. Not much through the first 2 innings, but then certainly turned things around, especially in that third. 12 total hits, 8 runs. 2-2 again. McHugh continues to battle.
Yeah, all the damage done in innings 3, 4, and 5. 2-2, and then 4. That big 5th inning really put the game out of reach at that point.
Getting started an hour later tonight. Another 2-2. McHugh pops it foul. This one makes the seats as well. Good battle right now between Monka and McHugh.
He's just protecting the plate at this point. First 2 pitches, balls, and Monka got one by him, 4 straight foul balls.
2-2. Stays low. McHugh's now worked the count full. This will be pitch number 9 of the at-bat upcoming with McDonald on deck.
And that's really impressive to know not to just turn into a swing-happy guy, because you know you have to protect.
Popped up behind home plate. Lavin gives it a look, but it's out of play.
It can be so easy when you fouled off a couple straight in a row and you're like, oh, I have to swing at everything because I have to foul it off. Well, no, the pitcher still has to find the zone.
We've seen a lot of these battles from Braden Randall. Right now it's Chris McHugh, though. Monka will be up to 19 on this offering. Payoff pitch. High fly ball into left field. Hugging the line. West maneuvering into foul play. He makes the catch for out number 3. A great at-bat from Chris McHugh ends in a flyout. Nothing doing for the Gatemen in their home half of the first. Through an inning to play on Cape League TV. We're knotted up at 0.